and thank you for joining us. My name is Julie Sabroff, and I have the honor to be board president for Future Heights. After a very wild year, it sure is great to be together in person. We're going to start by saying that we would not be here this evening without the support from our community volunteers, Future Heights members and donors, and the great support we receive from the City of Cleveland Heights and University Heights. We also have a great working board and a very dedicated and hardworking staff. On behalf of the board, I'd like to recognize the city officials and staff members here with us today. And so if you want to just raise your hand or stand up, that would be great. We have Michael Brennan, Mayor of University Heights. We have Melody Joy Hart, Council Member of Cleveland Heights and Cleveland Heights mayoral candidate. We have Craig Cobb, Council Member of Cleveland Heights. And we have Tim Boland, who is our Economic Development Director. Hey, Tim. And we would be remiss by not recognizing the candidates here for us this evening who are seeking office. Barbara Danforth, candidate for Cleveland Heights Mayor. Josie Moore, candidate for Cleveland Heights Mayor. And we also have Al Snodgrass, candidate for Cleveland Heights Council. So if I missed anybody here, please stand up and give us a shout. We have Anthony Maddox. Anthony Maddox, who's been a wonderful, wonderful supporter of Future Heights and a fantastic board member. Thank you, Anthony. So tonight we're going to recap our work over the last year, acknowledging the challenges, but also celebrating accomplishments. And importantly, we're going to share with you our plans for the future to improve the economic and social vibrancy of our community. As Future Heights moves forward, you're going to hear a theme as our programs and initiatives are focused on the underserved, neglected, and sometimes less visible neighborhoods in our community. We have an exciting program to share, but before I turn things over to Future Heights Executive Director, Deanna Brummer-Fisher, on behalf of Future Heights Board, thank you again for all of your support. Thank you to our hardworking staff, led by Deanna, who is grace under fire at all times. She's amazing. And the team that put together tonight's program, with a special shout out to our very own Joy Roller. Joy. And our wonderful host, Boss Dog. Thank you so much.
Julie, thank you for that fantastic introduction. I just want to add my welcome. I am so excited to, for the first time, be at a big event. We're not used to doing this, are we, folks? No. So this is new, I think, for all of us, and there have been a few technical difficulties tonight. So I'll just want to mention a few of those. One, we're very excited to be here at Boss Dog. They've been very gracious to us. We do apologize that the air conditioning system is not working tonight. And we do apologize for the rain. We're so sorry about that. We really tried our best not to make that happen, but here we are. But if there's one thing that we know, is that we know how to roll with the punches and to modify what we're doing, and so that is what we're doing tonight. But we're very excited to be here with Boss Dog. They've been so generous to us to allow us to use this space. And also I want to let you know about a very special promotion that they're doing for us tonight. They have a beer on their list specifically for us tonight called the Heights Nuclear Free Pilsner. So if you want to drink beer that is nuclear free, I will recommend this Pilsner. And also let you know that $1 from each of the Pilsners that is sold this evening will come back to Future Heights. So please indulge. Tonight we have, we'll try to be as brief as we can tonight, but we've got some important things to tell you about tonight. First of all, we want to show you our new Future Heights video. This was something that we had planned prior to the pandemic, but we executed it during the pandemic, and we were so thankful that we did, because it really enabled us to reach people and let people know what Future Heights is all about and how we're making a difference in the community. So we're going to share that with you tonight in case you haven't seen it. Secondly, we're going to hear from our keynote speaker, historian Mark Salder, who is giving a talk called A Century of Civic Engagement in the Heights. Then we'll allow a few moments for Q&A with him, and then we will launch our Future Heights update and tell you all of the activities that we've been up to during this very difficult time. And then we'll allow a few more minutes for Q&A in case you have any questions about Future Heights activities. And then we're going to finalize voting. Now this is very important. We have, I thought we were going to have 8 of our mini grants recipients here tonight. I think there are 7 of them who are here tonight. And can everybody who's a mini grants recipient who is here with the presentation just kind of raise your hand so people know where you are? Okay. All right. Thank you. So they are here to answer any questions about their projects, and when you came in tonight, you should have received 2 tickets. You have 2 votes, and you can use them for both for the same project, or you can split them up and vote for your 2 favorites. But at the end of the evening, we are going to announce the winner, and that project will receive an additional $250 to go towards their project. And then we'll wrap things up for tonight. So that's our agenda for tonight. And so without further ado, we're going to start our video.
Hi, I'm Donna Johnson.
My name is Andre Witt.
I'm Destiny Burns. My name is Amit Shah.
My name is Mark Chupp, and I live in Cleveland Heights.
Cleveland Heights.
I'm a lifelong Cleveland Heights resident.
Resident of Cleveland Heights.
There's so many things that I love about our city. The libraries, walkability, the restaurants are fantastic.
The thing I love most about Cleveland Heights is the diversity. You're allowed to be whoever you want to be, and that's okay.
The ability to be yourself.
There's amazing housing stock and nature. We live in a forest city.
Future Heights really helped me get to know and understand the community, helped me get connected in the community, meet people through the city. As I was beginning to not only live here and find my way as a new resident, but also as a future business owner, trying to choose the right location and connected with the right resources to start a business in this area.
I would say that Future Heights is the connector for residents and resources and organizations, agencies in Cleveland Heights.
Future Heights provides a really important role that complements what the government does.
Future Heights has an awful lot to do as an organization with the vibrancy in our community.
Future Heights had to earn the trust of City Council, of the city administration and the staff, and Cleveland Heights has been benefited by the strong standing created by becoming a CPC.
We started out as a very grassroots organization and then slowly added programming to us, but we're really excited about being a community development corporation and partnering with our city.
The program that I really admire at Future Heights is the Best of the Heights contest. I think it really gives a way for businesses to highlight what they do, interact with the community, and also get some feedback from the community about things that they like about those businesses.
We're we're doing work such as redeveloping distressed homes. And not just to fix the outside of a home, but to make it so that it's livable. But to make a house a home for a family to move in and spend the next 20, 30 years living in.
Future Heights plays the role of providing quality rehab to put a house back on the market that might have gone into disrepair and eventually demolition.
I was able to get a Future Heights grant. My grant was for a play yard so that the kids from both the synagogue and the community can play there together, fostering more cultural understanding.
The Heights Observer is the mouthpiece for the community. And so it's a place for dialogue, it's a place for diverse views to come out. This is an important place to get information about what's happening.
I like it because anyone can write an article, and all of the articles that are in there are from issues that are impacting Cleveland Heights at any particular moment.
Cleveland Heights has many artists and musicians, which makes it a wonderful community. But it wasn't until the creation of the Music Hop.
Music Hop that we have every year in the fall. It's a great way to get residents and non-residents alike together to enjoy music all up and down the street.
They're a great resource, they're a convener, and I think that's probably the biggest impact.
The reason I would recommend that everyone support Future Heights is because all of that support comes right back into our community to make it better, to make it stronger, to make it more connected.
Future Heights.
Future Heights.
Ensuring a vibrant
And sustainable community.
For Cleveland Heights and University Heights.
All right, well that was a terrific video, and I want to thank our fundraising membership and marketing committee for putting that together, and also DigiZoom Media and all of the participants in that video. So now I have the great pleasure of introducing Cleveland Heights resident Mark Souther, who is a professor of history and director of the Center of Public History and Digital Humanities at Cleveland State University. Mark has done a number of things for our community. He has written several National Register nominations. He participates in several activities, including one of our mini grants recipients who is here tonight, the University Heights Symphonic Band. So you will see Mark out and about, but he is a really knowledgeable guy, and we are super excited to have him tonight. You probably have seen, since it is Cleveland Heights Centennial, you've probably seen some historical materials come out. There's been a series that the library has done in partnership with the Historical Society and the city and others. But we gave Mark a different challenge. We kind of know, because we can see the built environment in Cleveland Heights, and we know that it's a very special place. But what we asked Mark to do was think about the social history of Cleveland Heights. How do the people who are here impact the environment, and how has the environment impacted them? And how do the people make this a special place? And so that's what Mark's going to talk about tonight in his keynote address, A Century of Civic Engagement in Cleveland Heights. So Mark, come on up.
I'm a little too tall, so I'll do the best I can. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, thank you. Thanks so much. Louder? Okay. In this centennial year of Cleveland Heights Incorporation as a city, many of us are reminded that we live in a community with a rich history. Thankfully, we have preserved so many of the historic buildings, houses, and other features that enable us to have a sense of history simply by taking a walk. It's taped. Well, let me see. Let me untape it. There we go. Now we're good.
He's a little taller than the first two speakers.
Sorry about that. Let me start over. In this centennial year of Cleveland Heights incorporation as a city, many of us are reminded that we live in a community with a rich history. Thankfully, we preserve so many of the historic buildings, houses, and other features that enable us to have a sense of history simply by walking around on virtually any street. But as we admire fanciful brick chimneys, clay tile roofs, leaded windows, and decorative stonework, it can be all too easy to miss that throughout the past century, Cleveland Heights citizens were always engaged in the present and the future of the community. For the past 50 years, this engagement has included stewardship of our architectural legacy, but Heights civic engagement has more often revolved around questions of what type of community we want to be. I'd like to reflect briefly on a century of civic engagement in Cleveland Heights tonight, offering just a few examples of the community's persisting legacy of citizen action. As I think will become clear, Cleveland Heights drew its people together to address issues they found important at all levels, from the neighborhood to the nation. Even before Cleveland Heights moved from village to city status in 1921, Heights citizens showed that they cared about much more than suburban homeownership. The Cleveland Heights Civic Club formed in 1913 and divided into men's and women's civic clubs 4 years later. The latter, led by Mrs. C.M. Finfrock, engaged right away in the women's suffrage movement, and over the next few decades supported voter education, granted college scholarships, planted trees, provided relief to families who were suffering through the Great Depression, and compiled the city's first history, a book called The Proud Heritage of Cleveland Heights, published in 1966. Some forms of civic engagement have their roots in national matters. For example, Cleveland Heights citizens responded collectively to the challenges posed by the World Wars. In World War I, the women on Lincoln Boulevard, which is actually where I live, organized to sew bandages for the American Red Cross. And in the Second World War, Mrs. Howard Whipple Green, whose husband was a well-known Cleveland demographer, directed what was called the Block Plan, in which women throughout the city organized at the block level to coordinate wartime activities. They canned food, sold war bonds, and collected scrap metal, clothing, cooking oils, and other materials needed to support the war effort. These wartime collective actions were important in laying the foundation for ongoing block-level social and service activities. The Lincoln Boulevard women's effort that I mentioned, and in the First World War, evolved into Cleveland Heights' oldest block club, which is still active today, after more than 100 years. And the World War II block plan that I also mentioned also spawned continuing block clubs on a number of streets. During the Civil Rights Movement of the 1960s, many Cleveland Heights residents became proactive in supporting the movement. In 1963, for example, St. Paul's Episcopal Church invited Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to speak in the hope of reaching out to white suburban minds and opening those minds to the struggle for social equality. In the following year, 1964, a new group called Heights Citizens for Human Rights became active in a range of wider civic issues. Even louder? Okay. I'll try to speak up even more. In the following year, so this is 1964 again, a new group called Heights Citizens for Human Rights became active in a range of wider civic issues, but focused on pressing the city to pass fair housing and fair ordinances, or fair practices ordinances, and sponsoring housing checks to ferret out racial discrimination in housing. In 1972, the St. Anne Church Social Action Committee discovered just how pervasive racial steering by real estate agents was through its St. Anne audit. That same year, a number of Heights residents banded together to form Heights Community Congress, which worked to foster a racially integrated community by extending the work started at St. Anne's. It initiated lawsuits against realty firms whose agents engaged in racial steering, It started an annual tour of homes and gardens and developed the prototype for the city-run Heights Housing Service at City Hall, whose first director, Barbara Roderick, had been an active member of Heights Citizens for Human Rights. And these chords of activism continue to echo today. Heights Community Congress still conducts periodic tests of fair housing compliance, while the city added LGBTQ protections in 2014 to strengthen its civil rights era fair practices ordinance. While Heights activists were fighting against racial steering and blockbusting and charting a course toward fostering a rare suburban community that aspired to equality and inclusion, the social and cultural ferment of the 1960s changed Cleveland Heights in other ways. After University Circle development pushed out businesses along Euclid Avenue that were friendly to the so-called counterculture in the mid to late 1960s, Coventry Village emerged as an enclave that many likened to San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury. Cleveland Heights, and especially Coventry, fostered conceiving and testing new ideas and questioning conventional Cold War era views and practices. The Vietnam War prompted demonstrations at Heights High, on Coventry Road, and at the Davis Cup tennis match, among others. Activist inclinations did not disappear with the end of the conflict. A notable example was when Doreen Davis and others successfully petitioned to make Cleveland Heights a nuclear-free zone, for which the Pilsner that you drink tonight is named. This was in 1987. While the designation, which has since appeared on signs at the city limits, might have little power to prevent the manufacture, research, transportation, and storage of nuclear materials, it nonetheless signaled an unconventional spirit that still moves Heights residents to act. Cleveland Heights citizens have also taken collective action in so many other ways. Let me tell you a few. Gardening. Gardening is one important thread in this history of engagement. The first garden club was the Fairmount Garden Club, founded in 1925, and that inspired the formation of several others across the city. The club donated pink and white dogwood trees along the upper end of the Shaker Lakes, while in World War II, Heights residents planted victory gardens at Oxford and Canterbury schools. In more recent years, community gardens have brought residents together to till vacant lots and school grounds. The city has the city continues to sponsor community gardens on Hampshire Road, while the CHUH district and the Office on Aging supervise gardens at a couple of the schools, as well as a small garden at Cumberland Pool. More recently, neighbors in the Noble neighborhood have started the Delmore Community Orchard, which is growing various fruits such as apples, pawpaws. If you don't know what pawpaws are, you should look it up. I hear they're tasty. And grapes and raspberries, among other things. The protection of homes, neighborhoods, and commercial districts is another important strand in the history of Cleveland Heights. In 1961, residents organized to oppose the new mall in town, Severance Center, which was a great thing for Cleveland Heights in many ways, but while it was being built, some people were being adversely affected by the construction, as runoff was damaging their yards and blasting was damaging their foundations. The Heights Area Project, spearheaded by the Jewish Community Federation in 1969, invested in preserving the fabric of Jewish life along and near South Taylor Road, at a time when many Jewish institutions were joining the broader flight to the outer suburbs. That same year, CSTEP, or Citizens for Sane Transportation and Environmental Politics, you see why they call themselves CSTEP for short, labored alongside activists in Shaker Heights to help stop County Engineer Albert Porter's push to build the Lee, the Heights, and the Clark freeways, which, if built, would have sliced and diced Cleveland Heights and Shaker Heights. And it didn't stop there. Coventry Neighbors, also organized in 1969, coordinated residents and business interests, holding absentee landlords to account, and creating a more engaged and livable urban village over the next 3 decades. And 50 years ago this year, Forest Hill Church formed what became the Home Repair Resource Center, offering programs and services that empower homeowners to keep their homes in good condition no matter their income level. Finally, schools and the arts have been powerful forces that pulled Heights residents into common cause. One of these PTAs, the Women's Civic Club organized the original parent-teacher organizations, or PTAs, in the Heights schools in the 1920s. One of these PTAs at the former Coventry School formed a committee in 1991 to invite Coventry students to submit drawings of their dream playground. This led to the incorporation of Coventry People Enhancing a Child's Environment, better known as Coventry Peace, which then went on to raise about $300,000 to make Coventry Peace Park a reality. And it's now home to summer concerts and movie nights, winter sledding, and of course the favorite playground for Heights kids, 4 seasons a year. For more than 30 years, another organization called Reaching Heights has been an active voice for fostering more effective public education in the Heights School District. And since 1991, Friends of Kane Park has strengthened its namesake park's commitment to the performing arts and the visual arts by investing not only in the place, but in the people, through programs such as stipends. I'm sorry, I did something. That was not part of my talk. Yeah. By investing not only in the people, but also in not only in the place, but in the people through a variety of programs such as stipends for non-union actors, student scholarships for those going into the arts, and free and reduced rate events to serve the broadest possible community. As we enter our 2nd century as a city, we have a rich history of civic engagement to build upon. In its 1966 history of the community that I mentioned earlier, the Women's Civic Club had a chapter titled, They Joined. They joined. Both then and since, I hope it's now clear that Cleveland Heights citizens were always more than just joiners. They organized, they educated, they advocated, they demonstrated, they endowed, they planted, and they believed that with their voices and with their hands, they were active agents in writing the history that we now celebrate in 2021. Going forward, I want us to try to find ways to honor their legacy, to reveal their work as we imagine future Cleveland Heights landmarks. May we also find inspiration in their work as we work together to shape Cleveland Heights' future. Thank you very much.
Right. So I know in the interest of time here, we want to move on, but does anyone have a burning question for Mark before we let him go? Mark, I know you're going to be hearing from people. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so as you can tell, Cleveland Heights has a rich history of civic engagement, and we're going to talk now about what we're doing currently and give you a little update on what Future Heights has been up to during this past year when we were all stuck in our homes. Well, one of the things that we did is we really took a look at our vision, mission, and values. And in addition to the pandemic, the other big thing that was going on last year is that we were all looking at ourselves and thinking about equity, inclusion, and how we could do better. And Future Heights is no different. We also took a look at our organization and looked at its foundation and tweaked our vision, mission, and values to make sure that our commitment to diversity and inclusion was clear. In addition to that, we're taking a look at all of our programming this year and everything that we do to make sure that we are good to our commitment. So you can see this new updated vision, mission, and values on our website. but you can see clearly our commitment to making this a better place for all Cleveland Heights residents and all people. We are run by a board of 24 members currently. Many of them are here tonight. You heard from Julie Sabroff, our president, and many of our other board members are here. I would like them to be recognized. If they can raise their hand, stand up. I see many of you here. Future Heights board members, thank you so much. We really appreciate all that you do for our organization, and I certainly appreciate your sage advice. We have a growing staff. I've got the organization chart here, and basically the way that we're organized is we are organized by people, the people side of things, and that's run by Sruthi Bas, our community builder. Sruthi is here. And she is assisted by Sydney Chicos, our AmeriCorps Summer Vista, who you may have seen at registration. I think she's probably still there because I'm looking out and don't see her. On the place side of things is Abby Lawless, our Director of Real Estate Development. And Abby, can you raise your hand? And she is assisted by Melanie Cook, our AmeriCorps Vista, who started with us in January in the midst of the pandemic. And she's doing a tremendous job. And I think she also is at registration tonight. We have a very dedicated and capable Heights Observer staff, and you can see them here. Sally Kramer is our administrative assistant. Sally, I don't know if you're here or if you also are. She's back at registration as well. Sally also started during the pandemic. She started the week before. So it's been an interesting year for her. And I know I saw Kathleen Font, our bookkeeper. Kathleen, you're out there. Raise your hand. She's back there somewhere. Incredibly capable, and we've had some really unique challenges this year on the bookkeeping and financial side of things, dealing with the uncertainty of the pandemic, the PPP, and some other challenges. So just to give you a little bit of a picture of our finances, this is our 2020 income. It was down a bit, and you can see the various categories that it falls into, and one of the things that you'll notice is that 10% of our income last year came from that PPP loan, which is a forgivable loan, and that really, really helped us. This is the expense side of things. So you can see that the Heights Observer program, our community building program, and our community development programs are all pretty much equal parts at this point in the organization. And I'm happy to report that we had a slight positive, net positive last year, and that was really unexpected, and we were super proud of that. Thank you. And during the pandemic, we kept going with our programs. One of our best loved programs is the Best of the Heights Awards, so we carried that out in January and February and allowed people to vote for their favorite businesses. And we kind of mixed it up a bit and had some pandemic-related categories, things like Best Socially Distanced Dining, Best Curbside Pickup, Best Employee Pandemic Support, and Best Pandemic Pivot. Because we know that so many of our business owners were so creative during this last year, thinking of new ways to serve their customers and keep their businesses alive. So we wanted to recognize that. The Heights Observer also kept going strong in this past year, not without its own challenges. We were very excited to be the recipient of the Ohio Excellence in Journalism Awards, first place in Best in Ohio non-daily publication. Also, first in Ohio for public service columns. So Carla Rottenberg and Deborah Van Cleef, their column, won first place. So we're really proud of those awards. We published 12 issues, 12 print issues, and 50 e-news, weekly e-news. We were very creative with our distribution. At one point, we mailed to all of our members the Heights Observer. We also asked owners of the Little Free Libraries if we could distribute them there, because so many of our businesses were closed. Now we're starting to build up distribution again. And we have focused a lot on the electronic side of things. One of the things that is new for us is a new podcast called Due Diligence. It's run by Adam Dew. And his goal is to make sure that Heights residents are not only aware of the mayoral contest that we have going on, but that he is interviewing key stakeholders in the community to get their opinions and help distribute information about that upcoming election. So if you haven't listened to it yet, just on Monday, the 6th podcast came out, and I highly recommend it. And then lastly, I'm very pleased to announce that the Heights Music Hop is back for 2021. Obviously, with businesses closed last year, we weren't able to have it at all. This year, we are having it just one night, one district here in Cedar Lee on September 18th, and we're doing outdoor stages. We just can't, at this point, encourage people to crowd into many of our small storefronts. We're hoping that next year it'll be back to normal, but for this year, a more limited event, but certainly welcome back. And at this point, I'd like to talk about our housing programs, and I would like to introduce to you Abby Lawless, our Director of Real Estate Development, who runs the Future Homes program, and she's going to give us an update on those programs. Abby?
Can you guys all hear me? Okay. Thanks, Sienna. I'm Abby Lawless, for those of you who don't know me. I was hired under our agreement with the city to work on our housing programs. And we're happy to announce that we did renew that agreement. So in 2020, for another 2 years, so in 2021, we will be focusing on doing 5 more rehabs, and in 2022, 5 rehabs and also 6 infill development starts on the vacant lots in our city. We started out this program with the target areas that the city had identified in their master plan, which were the Noble area, North of King Park, and also the Mid-City area. Our goals of this program are to reduce blight, promote home ownership, stabilize and increase property values, and also bring homes with modern amenities and preserve the architectural integrity of the Cleveland Heights. So this is the Mid-City target area that we started in. As you can see, the areas around the high school, so we wanted to leverage the investments in the high school that were invested in restoring its historical character, as well as the private and public investments in the streetscape on Cedar Lee and in the business district. So the area in orange those are vacant homes that we have rehabbed through the program. All of those are complete. And then the area in blue is the model block program. And we specified these streets around the high school to improve the visibility and livability of the street. So focusing on things other than just rehab housing, but how we can improve the landscape, the streetscape, and other areas, provide resources to homeowners so that we can make it a more livable street and a good representation for people visiting the high school. It might be hard to read, but these are the statistics on our 8 homes that we finished 8 homes, and these are the 14 that are in the program. So we have the pre-rehab assessed value, which most are under $20,000. And through the completion of the homes and their resale value, they've increased about 700% in their value. And then they're all in different stages. So we keep track of also the homes that we have under construction, which are mostly in the northern part of the city, and we'll be completing their kind of their rehab towards the end of the summer. So we look forward to seeing those sale prices too. As you can see, this is the entire city map. So where the blue dots are, the condensed areas of where our rehabs have taken place. As you can see, they're in sort of the center city and then the northern part of the city. And then on the right are examples of homes that have gone through the program. So if you can see, they have historic features that we would like to maintain and help to restore, like front porches and different types of siding, really trying to make sure that we're respecting the architectural integrity and keeping the community the way with the unique housing style. Along with rehab, we are also starting to work on infill development. So we've researched vacant lots throughout the city and mapped out potential areas for development. We created a map that's interactive that we can use, as developers can use as a tool to start finding and getting familiarized with Cleveland Heights. We've also created a driving tour, so we've taken developers out and around Cleveland Heights so that they can learn about the area and get familiar with the different assets that our neighborhoods have to offer, so they can see that the neighborhoods that they would be building in and be familiar with the community and the assets there. And then we've also looked at different types of builders throughout Cleveland who have focused on new housing types that we don't necessarily have in Cleveland Heights. So looking at how we can make them accessible and modern, but also affordable and compatible with what's here. So looking at first floor masters, attached garages, things where people can age in place or be more accessible and universal for people so that they can stay in Cleveland Heights if they would like to. And then this is an example of our 8th home that we've just finished. So this home was actually slated for demolition. It's on Washington, right across the street from the high school, so extremely visible. So if it wouldn't have been added to our program, it might have become a vacant lot, which would have been a lot harder to build a home on now. And then also it had a lot of the features, exterior and interior historical features that we look to maintain in the program. We added a lot of amenities too. So it was a really good example of kind of the product we look for in our rehab program. And so this is just a little slideshow going through some of the interior photos before and afters of the finished product. So adding in first floor bathrooms, which a lot of Cleveland Heights homes don't have. Kind of some of the before, there were holes in the roof, missing windows, extreme water damage from the roof all the way to the basement. You can see the fireplace and the built-ins. There are also lead glass windows that we preserved that are a little bit easier to see in this photo. In most cases, we try and keep the hardwood floors too. In this home, it wasn't really plausible just because of the water damage. And then this is the attic, which used to just serve as an attic with kind of holes in it and get some sunlight, and now it's a master suite on the 3rd floor. And then rebuilding the back porch too. And then these are some examples of the homes in progress. So similarly, removing the landscape, rebuilding the front porch to match its original, getting rid of some outdated windows, putting in new ones, restoring built-in cabinets, bringing the kitchen up to kind of its modern amenities. We opened the front porch at this home on Whitby so that it would match its surrounding, its 2 neighboring homes, and really opened up the kitchen so that it's kind of like an open floor plan now instead of a lot of smaller rooms. And then also restored the fireplace and built a new mantle.
Thank you, Abby. I mean, these homes are really amazing, and I hope that one day soon we will be able to have some open houses so you'll get to see them in person, because pictures are great, but they really don't do justice to these homes that have really been transformed. Thank you, Abby. Next, I would like to invite up Shruti Baz. Go through the slideshow, go. Who is our Director of Community Building Programs, and she is going to explain to you some of the placemaking, planning, and civic engagement activities that we have.
Thank you, Deanna. Hi, everyone. I'm Shruti. For those of you I haven't had the chance to meet yet, I have to be louder. Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. The first project that I want to talk about is the Cedar Lee Mini Park, which is to your right. This project was first developed a couple years ago, and some of the goals of the project were to really enhance this public space to meet its full potential. We realized that there wasn't a lot of spaces to gather, and while this space serves as a walkway, it had the potential to be so much more. We have several current partners and supporters, including Boss Dog, who's been a great partner through this process. And so we worked with MKSK to really, after a thorough civic engagement process, reimagine what this space could be. We heard from the community through community listening and visioning sessions what people would like to see. One of the main things, and this is our final design, and one of the main things that came up over and over again was that the space is not safe and fully accessible for people with different abilities. So that was really important to us. We want our community and all of our spaces to be accessible to everybody, similar to Cleveland Heights' slogan, all are welcome. We felt the same way about this space that is such an important gateway and enters one of our most exciting business districts. So you'll see in the final design, MKSK came up with a really elegant solution to kind of remediate those challenges that people have. In addition, you'll see an activity landing that could be used for civic engagement, showcasing the arts, that businesses and neighborhood groups could use alike. We also have benches for seating, lighting, and then also paying homage to the space's history. There's a lot of elements from the natural environment as well worked into here, which we heard during our visioning sessions mattered to people in the community. In 2021 and in 2020, we were able to make some exciting progress. There's a new neighborhood group, Neighbors with Nature, that are being stewards of the space. And we also received two more grants to help support the project. Next, I want to talk a little bit about our neighborhood planning program. So we've been focusing on the Noble Road corridor in partnership with Noble Neighbors, the two cities of Cleveland Heights and East Cleveland, Bear CDC, and GE Lighting, which is now Savant. You'll see some of our project goals that were developed with Noble Neighbors and other residents, and Neighborhood 9 in East Cleveland as well. So we worked with Camiros to come up with, we shared what mattered to us and what we were trying to accomplish, and they recommended a few steps that will help us reach our goals. So they really focused on making sure that Noble Road Corridor is a place not only for cars, but pedestrians as well. Enhancing retail activity in the 4 business nodes. Building on the transit routes, there's a lot of people that utilize public transportation throughout our community, including Noble. And then also seeking development on vacant parcels along the corridor. There's a lot of opportunity there for housing and commercial development. They provided us with detailed plans for each commercial node, Noble Euclid, Noble Mila, Noble Monticello, and 3 concepts for Noble Mayfield. Noble Mayfield is a gateway to the district and to the city, and there's a lot of different opportunities based on our partnership with the city. One of those things is moving the city facilities, which we are advocating for and working with the city on. We are guided by our action agenda and next steps. A lot of these projects may take a long time, but we're working on it by trying to validate the vision through 3 additional studies, continue implementing early action projects in partnership with Noble Neighbors and Neighborhood 9, meet with potential developers to explore options for development, hear their responses, strengthen existing businesses and recruit new storefront businesses, and advocate for the exploring the relocation of the salt dome in the storage yard. So like I said, early action projects are really helpful because they build momentum, and the early action projects that we chose to focus on, which we were guided by residents, were to place benches along the corridor. And this is really in line with what the plan recommends in order to make the corridor more pedestrian friendly, creating spaces for people to meet and gather, and then also creating spaces for people that are riding on public transportation to sit, because there aren't that many bus shelters there as well. So we placed 5 benches. This is phase 1 of the bench project The concrete pads just went down on Monday, so you'll see 5 new benches in the next couple of weeks once the weather clears, strategically placed close to bus stops. And then we also wanted to leverage all the work that Noble Neighbors is doing, so you'll see a couple of benches near the Roanoke Mini Park as well. And then there's also one near the library. As you know, we also host speaker series. It's a really crucial part of our work, and it really showed to be important as we as a community tried to figure out how to fare with the pandemic and this mayoral transition. So in 2020 and 2021 we held virtual programming, and then we also have partnered and will be partnering with the Minority Business Assistance Center on a pre-certification workshop to help small businesses, Heights Community Congress on their Heights Conversations, and the League of Women Voters. We've partnered with them in the past, and we'll continue to host election forums. So mark your calendars. We have the following upcoming forums and speaker series. Almost all of them will be held in person. So we are excited and hope to see you there. We also support residents as they work on becoming neighborhood leaders. So we have a neighborhood leadership workshop series. You'll see on the map that we've had 77 participants that have participated from throughout the city. These are residents who are interested in doing work in the community but may not have the resources or be aware of the different tools that are available. So we try to help with that. And we'll be hosting another cohort this fall. Applications open in July, and it will be held in person. The cohort experience is very important, an important aspect of the program. So I just wanted to spotlight a few of our graduates of the program. You may have met Don McBride. He is a mini grant recipient. And Donna and Amy are both serving on the Civic Engagement Committee and the Future Heights Board. We also have participants that serve on city commissions and task force as well. So people go on to do really impactful work in their neighborhoods and in the community. We also serve as fiscal sponsors for many groups, and many of these groups are mini grant recipients. They don't hold 501c3 status because they don't want to deal with all of the paperwork and the bookkeeping. So we're happy to provide that service for them, and they can continue to receive funding and support and use our tax status. Finally, our neighborhood mini grants program. So you met some of our mini grant recipients tonight and learned about some of their exciting projects. In 2021, we expanded our program to include University Heights, something that we wanted to do for a long time. And then also we expanded to offer small grants to homeowners in our model block area. To date, 57 projects have been funded for just under $37,000, all throughout Cleveland Heights and University Heights too now as well. We also track our funding by category. So you'll see that gardening, beautification, arts, and placemaking are really popular. We receive a lot of applications because people care about their built environment and their neighborhoods and how it looks and feel connected to it. And you'll also see that in the last few years, there's a growing number of applications that we've received related to youth empowerment and engagement. So we're really happy to engage with that population and support them as well. In fall of 2020, we supported 5 projects for just under $3,000. And this spring was our biggest round yet. We funded 10 projects for just under $6,500. And 3 of those projects were in University Heights. So the results, community cohesion fostered and driven by residents. Our next application deadline is September 15th. So if you haven't yet, you all should have received 2 raffle tickets to vote for your favorite projects. We have the University Heights Symphonic Band here tonight. They are going to update their musical programming season by purchasing new musical arrangements that highlight various social justice issues. Cedar Fairmount Arts Building Heights unfortunately could not be here tonight. They were not feeling well. Cigar Box Guitars, Cedarbrook Society that does gardening at the mini park, Whiz Bang, Milliken Neighbors, and Friends of Art in the Park. So last chance to get your votes in because we'll be tallying votes soon. And thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. As you can see, we've got a lot of programming happening. There was a lot going on yet last year, even though we couldn't get together, and we're very excited about being able to get together this year. So this is the last call for voting for the mini grants to receive. One project will receive an additional $250 today based on your votes. You've each got 2 tickets. Please, now is the time. If you have not done it already, please get up, and just behind the busing station there, you will find the receptacles for the voting. So please, if everyone can vote. So we're near the end of our program, and we would, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to take them now. And if not, we're going to move toward the end of our program here. We are going to be announcing the winner in just a moment, but at first I'm going to ask Joy Roller, the chair of our Fundraising, Membership, and Marketing Committee, to come up and say a few words. Joy?
Hi everybody, I hope you'll stay tuned for what I've got to say because we have something very, very exciting to tell you about this year. Everybody, can you just listen for one more minute? Hello? Hi back there. Okay, so if you can advance the slide, I think you've got some slides. Okay, so June is membership month for Future Heights. As you can see, this organization does so much with a very limited staff, but they do so much, and they really depend on the support of the community. So we're asking you to be a member. Prices are as low as $20 for seniors and students, and it goes up to $500. And what you get for that is a discount of the e-newsletter. You get the Heights Observer. Everybody knows the Heights Observer. You can get it delivered to your door. And then you can also get discounts on the benefit. And that's what I really want to tell you about, something very exciting this year. Okay. Hold on. Why? Okay. How many of you know this home? How many don't know this home? This is Bellevue, also known as the Tremaine Gallagher home. It's probably the most iconic, beautiful historic home in Cleveland Heights. It's at 3001 Fairmount, the corner of Stratford and Fairmount. This is the location of our annual benefit this year on August 28th. By attending our benefit, you will have the opportunity to tour inside the home, to get we'll have docents in all of the exquisite rooms and the gardens. And let me just list for you, I need some glasses to list for you what's in this house. I'm very lucky to have had the tour by our gracious host, Sally Smith, Sally and Ted Smith, the owners of the house. But you'll be able to see the exquisitely renovated kitchen, the stunning glass ceiling dining room, the Roman front hallway, the Egyptian bedroom, the French bedroom, the master bedroom, the billiard room and secret bar, and then outside the Shakespeare Garden, grass croquet court, the pool with a beautiful stage where famous jazz musicians have played, the French Garden, the silent poetry studio, and the Chinese Garden. Now let me tell you, this event is going to sell out. We know that. I've been dying to get into that house since I moved to Cleveland Heights. And so let me just say that I have here sponsorship letters and forms, that if you're interested in sponsoring this event, that's how you can be guaranteed to get a ticket, because it will sell out. So please, anybody here who is interested in attending this event, who might want to help Future Heights by being a sponsor, please see me before the night's out and I will give you a letter and sponsorship form. So thank you for joining to be a member, and thank you for coming to our benefit on August 28th. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. This is going to be a really exciting event, and I know that they are working hard to tally the votes. I hope everyone had a chance to vote. So we're going to be waiting for those. This is the conclusion of our program, but if you'd like to stick around, we will make that announcement. If anyone has any questions for Future Heights, we would be happy to answer them. And if not, we will hang out. So much for coming tonight and for sitting through this important information. I know it's very warm in here. We've got the rain outside. We've all been cooped up too long, right? So we're all glad to come out. You know, feel free to stay and have a bite to eat. Have another beer. You want to make sure that you're nuclear free tonight. All right. Excellent. So I've been asked to make an announcement about an event that is coming up in July. This is our own version of Garden Walk, Cleveland Heights Garden Walk 2021. That's going to take place on July 17th and 18th. We have 50 gardens on the tour, 50 and 10 pollinator gardens. So I know we've got some flyers out there if you're interested. Please make sure you pick up one of these. This is going to be a fantastic event. It didn't happen last year, and we missed it a lot, so we're really excited to have it this year. All right, folks, we've got one more announcement to make before we let you go. If I can have your attention one more time. Can I have your attention, please? We have one more announcement to make. I'd like to announce the winner.
Everybody, let's go! Thank you! One more announcement!
All right, thank you. Got your attention, what we've all been waiting for. The winner of the 2021 Future Heights additional funding, an additional $250, will go to Whiz Bang.
Oh, yeah! Yay! That's awesome.
Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you so much for your support and welcoming us. Oh, is it welcoming us into the community? We opened right before the pandemic with help from a lot of you, and we started our circus school, and this is our third time doing free circus days, but we're opening it up for 2 days for children and teens that are marginalized and at-risk youth. Social circus is an amazing phenomenon that helps them with, I'm so excited, with self-confidence, concentration in schools. It gives them the social skills to communicate with others, to trust others, and to live in a bigger world. So thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
Congratulations again to our winners and to all our neighborhood mini grants recipients. Thank you all for coming. Good night.